All right, what is up, Reborn podcast listeners? I am here with my co-host, Laina, who has created an Instagram account.
I did.
Share the world. Share with everybody.
So get ready.
As I'm going to pour us Angel's Envy.
The most important meal of the day.
Envy?
I do.
Okay.
It's a very popular whiskey.
It's really good. All right. Tell us all about, because we're going to actually cheers to your new...
To my new Instagram.
So we can follow your fitness journey and everything that you're about.
So my Instagram is Laina, which is Laina _Del Delrey. So give me a follow.
Give her a follow. Give her a shout out.
Give me a shout out.
I don't even know what that means.
Tell me to stop talking on the Reborn podcast. Like, give me some critiques. What can I do better? I'm here for you guys.
I love it. I love the support. So today's podcast is actually going to be a fun podcast because it's going to be all about kind of getting to know Laina, being the co-host of the Reborn podcast, the new personality. She's extremely funny. She's slightly inappropriate, and
always. You can
I think it's a good. Because I can be a little bit more reserved and a little bit shy. I've kind of had I've always been a little bit shy growing up.
Really?
And so I have. Yeah. I think I was really sheltered in Oklahoma growing up. And so I've always had this, even though I have this massive platform and I can be outgoing, and we've talked about this before. I think I'm an outgoing introvert.
Yes.
And sometimes people take, if I'm quiet, around a group of people, it's really just because, I'm really shy and I don't know what to talk about.
I'm the same way. People think I'm this crazy, wild thing, but I'm like,
you are.
Really
you are, though.
not.
You're pretty wild.
I thrive in small groups. I'm not I was the youngest of, I have a big family, and I'm the youngest on both sides, so I've been, clawing my way to get a word in since the day I was born. Youngest of 2 older sisters. I'm my family's all girls. I think I have 4 boy cousins.
Oh my gosh.
And the rest is all girls. And there's 15 plus
Lots
of us.
of females.
Yeah, we are a matriarchy faux show.
So here's to Laina and her new, here you go.
Thanks for listening to me, guys. I appreciate
this is to Laina
being here.
And her creating a new Instagram of Laina _. Delrey. All right. Cheers. That's good.
That's better than what you made me take last time.
Yeah, that last time we did the Rebel Yell, I think.
Oh, the Rebel Yell. Get the Angel's Envy. Don't do the Rebel Yell.
Yeah, that's such a good whiskey. That's a really good whiskey.
Smooth.
And then I've gotten quite a few new patches in the mail. And if you can see behind me, I'm starting to fill up my wall with patches. And this wasn't something that people have just started sending me these patches. And so this is one from Grand Prairie Police. This is the narcotics unit, which is really cool. And you guys are sending me
pot leaf in the skull.
Yeah, it is. I'll see it right here so you guys can see that. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
And then what else do we have? Here's another one. This is
fan mail?
Yeah, this is from Simi Valley, California. I think they're just patches. We'll just see really quick. I'm not going to read the card over the podcast, but
it's personal.
Oh, but this one says you're an awesome coach.
Cute.
See?
I love that.
I love that. At the heart of everything that I do, I feel like I'm...
Ooh, what we get this time?
This is Los Angeles County Sheriff.
Wow.
So I just want you guys to know, anytime I travel from this point forward, I'm going to look on my wall, and if I have a patch to the place that I'm going, I'm going to bring it.
You should start a map.
I'm going to bring it, so if I get in trouble.
Oh my God.
I can just whip out my patch.
She's like, I'm a part of the club.
Yeah.
Exclusive.
Like, ma'am, how'd you get that patch?
Don't worry about it.
I just know everybody. Anyways, these all mean so much to me. And if you guys want to send me a patch or a challenge coin, you are welcome to do so. You can just send it to my restaurant at American Brew, and you can find that on the interwebs. And this is the last one. And I love the notes. Oh, this is a...
Is it an invitation? Is it someone's birthday party?
It's a Mandala Pies Bakery that they invite in Vienna, Maryland.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm not going to make the grand opening because it was also last week. So I totally missed it. Sorry, but thank
Mandala.
you. Thank you, Caitlin, for inviting me. But anyways, your guys' mail and stuff is really awesome. It keeps it exciting for me, and I love it. So thank you very much. And I'm going to add these patches to my wall. And then also we got a new
time capsule.
The reactor watch. Somebody sent me a watch, which was pretty cool.
I feel like you could throw that into I was going to say oncoming traffic, and that thing would be fine. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to give this. I'm going to give this
take
to
a
my
fucking
boys.
beating. You could put a beer in that. Ooh, that's cute. I like the face of it.
Yeah.
She's hefty.
It's called The Reactor. I am no way sponsored or endorsed by this company. It was just a gift. So thank you very much for thinking about me.
That was a pretty watch.
Yeah. Do you have a sports watch or fitness watch?
No, I've been
okay.
thinking about getting one.
I'm a huge Garmin advocate.
I know, yeah.
I love Garmin. I've used Garmin even before I became a partner with Garmin. Mm-hmm. And they have really basic ones that basic runners, basic fitness goers can have.
My girlfriend, she's one of my best friends in the entire world. Shout out Maggie if you're listening. She told me from the start, because I was always like, oh, should I get the Apple Watch? What should I do? She's like, Garmin's the most accurate.
Yeah, it is.
And it's not going to bullshit you. You're like, oh,
yeah. I just feel like the Garmin watches actually look good too.
Yeah, they are.
It's sporty. It's functional. It makes sense. It's not
They're gorgeous watches.
Yeah. They have some really good ones. So this segment is really dedicated to Laina. And I mean, I guess just us talking about, I think that this is the cool thing that I love about what I do and the people who come into my life, because I feel like, actually, I know without a doubt that people come into my life for a reason. Regardless of how they have came into my life, whether it's through American Brew, whether it's working on a project or, a film crew, a photographer, I truly believe that everybody comes into our lives for a reason. And with Laina, I remember whenever I met her, she was a little bit quiet. Sometimes she would just randomly make these comments that were and I'd have to be like, what did she just say right now? And so today's segment is just letting you kind of get to know Laina and being the co-host of the Reborn podcast. And so I want to just talk about, I want to ask you some fire questions.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask these
I'm ready.
Then you just have to answer them right away. First thing that comes to your mind.
That's a scary thing.
All right. Pasta or pizza?
Pasta. I'm Italian.
Oh, okay. All right. Would that be your favorite meal too?
I like seafood and pasta mixed together. That's my shrimp scampi with red pepper flakes. Holy shit.
All-time favorite band?
Led Zeppelin.
Favorite movie?
Oh, I can't. Okay, it's like a three-way tie.
Nope.
Oh, all right, fine. Juno.
I don't know.
Girl, watch it.
What about your Netflix guilt pleasure?
Right now, it's Schitt's Creek.
Never heard of that.
Ashley.
What's your favorite place to visit?
Cape Charles, Virginia.
Why?
I just have a lot of really good family memories there. My sister got married there. It's our vacation. My family does. We rent out a house. It's actually 45 minutes away from Virginia Beach.
I've never been there.
It's beautiful. It's this town. It's super small. And it feels like you're in the 1950s when you're there. They still have a pharmacy with a diner inside.
Oh, wow.
And they have all these really cool down-to-earth people that live there and have their own artisan shops.
Yeah.
There's a nice little beach there. It's just peaceful.
Cape Charles, Virginia. It's only 45 minutes away.
Yeah, you go right over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, and you just keep going until you hit the second stoplight.
Huh.
And it's right on the left side.
There.
It's beautiful.
Do they have an ice cream shop?
Yeah, they do. Brown Dog ice cream.
Brown Dog.
They
so you know that's gonna be my next business adventure.
Ice cream.
Opening up an ice cream shop.
Really, I'm excited.
I want
a
boozy ice cream shop.
Or I'm quitting.
I want a boozy ice cream shop.
Boozy
where you
cream?
put alcohol inside your ice cream.
Can you imagine if we made our espresso martini into an ice cream?
Yeah, we should just put a scoop of vanilla ice cream in there. That's also spiked.
We could do that. We could. All right. Well, next week, catch us with our new recipe.
Yeah.
For the boozy ice cream martini.
I want you to work on that.
Okay, we'll do.
All right, moving right along. What is the best advice that you've ever received?
Best advice? Ooh.
Me critiquing your squat form?
Yes, that. love yourself, because how the hell are you going to love anybody else if you don't love yourself?
Yeah,
and
that's
that
true.
was from RuPaul.
From who?
RuPaul. He's like this famous drag queen. Best advice ever. You
We
gotta
need,
love
we need to
yourself.
start hanging out more.
I know.
I
I need to
yeah, I
take you
don't
to
know
a
who
drag
this-
show.
I would love that, actually.
It's my favorite place.
That
I feel
would be
like
fun.
alive.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm reborn. Reborn when I'm like at a drag show. It's
Why?
just so much fun. They just have so much fun. They're so
Yeah.
creative. They're like
Yeah.
these
happy.
incredible women.
Yep.
They're like showing their artistry and their
Yeah.
makeup, their clothes, and I just love it. They're expressing themselves. They're being their 100% authentic selves.
Yeah.
And I love that about drag.
Yeah.
So.
And
RuPaul.
originally you were from New York.
Yeah.
What
Yep.
part of New York?
Staten Island.
Staten Island.
Staten
Wow.
Island.
And then how old were you when you moved to Virginia?
Super young, like kindergarten age. So it's like I'm basically from Virginia at this point. I've lived longer in Virginia than I have New York.
So you're basically from Virginia.
Yeah, northern roots, southern living.
Do you think that, like, are you, so we're here at American Brew doing the podcast. Are you passionate about coffee and food?
I love coffee. I love coffee.
Have you always loved coffee?
Yes.
Do you remember
Well,
how old you were whenever you first started drinking coffee?
So it's funny. This is like my favorite thing in the entire, my grandfather, my mother's father, was my favorite person in the entire world. He was like my best friend, like to this day, like I know he's with me. So my favorite part of the day is I would go to school, and he lived across the street from me, my grandparents.
That's nice.
I would go to school, and every day after school, I'd go to my grandparents' house, and I would make coffee for my grandpa. It was just pot coffee. It wasn't anything special. And I would probably put like a shit ton of sugar in it, like way too much milk. So it was basically like milky sugar water with a drop of coffee in it. And he would tell me, he's like, this is the best coffee I've ever had. And that was my favorite part of the day, was having coffee with my grandpa every day after school. So I've always had coffee in my life. I didn't necessarily like it until I was a little bit older. But coffee was an important part of my day growing up. Very, very important. So, and now I love it. I drink it every day. I tweak out if I don't have it. But I do love my job. I do love, working on my latte art and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
you've gotten really good at it.
I've come a long way. I'll show you my before and like my current pictures of where my latte art is. I was actually talking with the camera guy Noah today. He's also a barista, and he was giving me some pointers. So I'm like gonna have to try it this week.
Yeah, well, you have to show me.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think inspired you to start your fitness journey? What was it?
So I've always been like athletic. I've always been involved in some sort of sports.
You did crew.
I did crew. I also played softball for 10 years, just about.
A lefty or righty?
I am a righty. I bowl left though, which is weird.
You bowl left.
I bowl left, but
That's
every other
really
sport I do
strange.
right.
Is
I don't
bowling
know.
even a sport?
I'm pretty sure it's in the Olympics. You can get a scholarship. I know a girl who got a scholarship for bowling
Really?
to college. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's cool though.
I have never heard of that.
Yeah, you can get a bowling scholarship. So
I haven't been bowling since I was like,
so much fun. The shoes are.
I think
Oh,
that's going to
just-
be the next like work trip is bowling.
I'm down. I'll bowl left. I'll show you bitches up.
I know. I want to see.
Yeah, but I've always been active. But I've always had a weird relationship with like getting fit and, what is considered athletic and like what's considered healthy.
So, but like, what is the real like?
The real reason
why
is-
did you decide?
The real
'Cause, like,
reason
you
is I was
did
tired
crew.
of feeling sorry for myself.
Yeah.
I was tired of feeling sorry for myself. Especially like now where I am, I'm in my mid-20s and I didn't have the body I had in high school. And I was like, well, why not? Why don't I have this body anymore? It's like, well, things change. Your body changes. Your diet changes.
How old are you?
23. 23, turning
Girl.
24 this year, yeah.
Yeah, you are literally in your prime right now.
Yeah, I'm in my prime. And even though I am in my prime, I was treating my body like shit.
Yeah.
I wasn't taking care of it. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was drinking, eating junk food, doing whatever. And, when you do that, you put on a few LBs. So at
LBs.
Yeah, it was a few LBs. And so last year I was at my heaviest. I was at almost 100 50 pounds.
And you're 5 foot.
And I'm 5 foot. So when you're short, the weight shows. So I was at my heaviest, and I was just feeling really sorry for myself.
Well, why were you feeling sorry for yourself?
I feel like in an Instagram and like an influencer world, I was comparing myself way too hard, and I was being way too hard on myself.
Do you think that really has a negative influence?
I think it does.
Because it's kind of weird. Like
but I think it has a positive influence.
Whenever I had Facebook, I started Instagram. I remember somebody started talking about Instagram. They're like, hey, this is going to be the next best thing, like whatever. And I started myself on Instagram. I think that I was like so driven like with work and like success that I've never spent my time, like my off time or my downtime, like looking at other people's social media. So and this is just like, sometimes I find it hard because I've never let other people's lives influence how I feel about mine.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very real thing. Because you're quite a bit younger than me.
So when I was in high school, that's when like Snapchat started coming around. That's when Instagram started.
I feel so aged right now.
You shouldn't though. Like, you're not that much older than me. My sister is older than you, but she's my sister. So if it makes you feel better, we could be sisters.
All right. Well, sisters.
Sisters.
I like that.
So all those big social media started coming out when I was in high school, which is a critical point.
It is, yeah, it's tough.
In like anyone's life.
Yeah.
So,
So like, who are you following? Like, were you
following like celebrities? I was
and then
following
were you just looking at their lives and thinking like, wow, like I suck?
Because the beautiful thing about Instagram is like you share your life with other people, but sometimes the negative thing about it is like you don't share the hard parts of your life.
No, and I think that we talked about this in like Tyler's podcast or one of our past podcasts that we've done is like
no one wants to see the negative side.
Yeah, social media is so powerful.
So powerful.
It is, and you can do a lot of amazing things. Like
you can do a lot of damage,
a lot of things with Haiti and the orphanage, and it also there is a lot of
The one thing I like about your Instagram is you're raw. You talk about your struggles. You talk about like everything that goes on. Like, it's not easy to get to where you are.
No, but even like in being like completely honest and real, like I feel like I even have a hard time now, like talking about the hard times.
It is hard
on social media because I feel like I think like a part of me is like, well, I have the pressure of like encouraging and motivating, and I try to be real and raw and talk about like, you know, some of the hardships that I've gone through and, you know, even relationship struggles, business struggles and stuff, and I try to be truly transparent and real about that. But it's like sometimes it's even hard for me, even a person that I don't really care a whole lot about like what people think about me. Like, I'm just kind of doing my thing and I don't really compare myself to other people, but it's tough. It is tough showing the negative side and the hardships of business. It's tough showing the negative side
people
and the hardships
like
of relationships.
Sometimes.
Maybe it's weakness. Maybe it's just like, it's definitely vulnerability.
And I think one of the things was I was following the wrong things at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Where it's like all of these beautiful women who look perfect.
Yeah.
They're, you know, and I was just like, why don't I look like that?
Mm-hmm.
And what can I do to look like that? So high school, I started getting into really unhealthy habits of like binge eating and, you know, making sure I was counting my meals, my calories. And
then you would just binge eat?
Yeah. And it got to a really unhealthy relationship with me and food and me and exercise. You know, I was working out 5-6 days a week.
Do you think that you had like an eating disorder?
I would definitely say so. I was definitely self-conscious about how much I ate, when I ate it. And, you know, I never had a healthy relationship like with food and with my body.
Do you think your unhealthy relationship with food, though, do you think that it was because you weren't really educated on what?
I think it was somewhat education.
Or was
and
it
I think
because
it was
you
somewhat
just
just
peer
being
pressure?
a teenager. It was being a teenager in this now open world of like where you see
media.
everyone doing everything and constantly comparing yourself, because being a teenager is hard. But I will, to this day, my teenage years were a very hard time for me. And, you know, I still to this day, I struggle sometimes with having a healthy relationship, but I'm like, you know what? Where I am today is so far from the girl I was when I was 15, 16 and not knowing how to treat my body. And so finally I'm like, okay, Laina, stop treating your body like shit, and maybe you won't feel like shit or look like shit. And I didn't even look bad. I just had this conception that I looked bad.
Well, we've talked about this like in past podcasts as well, but currently in like getting into like fitness and lifting weights and truly what it means to like find beauty in your strength, like you've gone from like a bottle of wine a night to being like, at least I think the first step is like realizing like maybe I shouldn't drink a whole bottle of wine a night. Even if you go ahead and you drink that bottle of wine, at least you're starting to think like maybe I shouldn't drink this whole bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And then the next time you have like a bottle of wine, you're like, okay, I don't like the way that I feel.
Huge step for me.
I'm gonna make the change. Like, I'm not gonna have a whole bottle. I'm just gonna have a couple glasses.
Yeah. So like basically where my fitness story progresses, like, okay, unhealthy relationship constantly with fitness, education of fitness, food, to, you know, I gave up on everything. Like, I just didn't care anymore. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about my body. I didn't care about my health. And I had like a snapping point back in January. Like during New Year's, I was like, you know what? I am so sick and tired of making excuses for myself, saying like, oh, my metabolism's gone, or I'm just going to be this whatever I am. I was tired of feeling sorry for myself. And I had this incredible boyfriend who's always been super supportive of me, never made me feel bad about myself. He's like, Laina, if you want to do this, just do it.
Yeah.
And I finally was like, you know what? You're absolutely right. I'm just going to go do it. So I finally started. I'm like, all right, so you can eat what you want.
Did you make the change because it was a New Year's resolution?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I love New Year's. New Year's is absolutely my favorite holiday. Yeah. I love reflecting on the past year and making goals for my new year and making goals for myself and like my lifestyle. And I was just like, you know what? This is the year. This is the year. And 2020 has been a hell of a fucking year.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and to make all these changes during 2020.
And I wanted to. I was like, you know what? This is your year. Yeah. You're 23. You're in the prime of your life. Go get it. Go get it. Go do it. Go do what you have to do. And I struggle still to this day, you know, like going to the gym when I should. And like, I don't want to work out some days.
Yeah.
And I convince myself, girl, get your ass to the gym.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yes. Tell me.
I feel like I struggle with that every single day.
And that makes me...
Of getting to the gym.
Yeah. It's hard.
Putting my fucking shoes on and going for a run. And that's like my job. Mm-hmm. It is like, it's something, and I think that it's so important. And if any person out there, fitness influencer, social media influencer, I don't know, celebrity, tells you that like, oh my God, I love it every day. Like, they're lying.
Liars.
It's not true.
It's hard.
We all have the same struggles. Like, I want to eat the cookie just as bad as you do.
Oh, yeah. I love our pastries.
But it comes down to, like, freaking just in your mind of being like, I don't need it. Like, I only need it for selfish, like, satisfying reasons. I don't fucking need that cookie.
I feel like the way to, like, being healthy is, like, you got to whip your body in shape, but more so than anything, you have to whip your mentality into shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what it came down to. It was mentality for me because I had this I was in this negative headspace. I was like, you got to break free from it. And I finally did. And that's basically how I started my fitness journey from March. And then everything shut down. And then coming back.
But you kept at it?
I'm sorry.
You kept at it?
I tried to. I tried to. I'm not going to say I was this great person.
Did you have a membership originally at Planet Fitness before COVID?
Yes, I did.
And then they probably shut down.
They shut down.
And then what did you did you have like a relapse or what did you do?
I did have a relapse.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything for myself. I was like, well, I can use the excuse of nothing's open. I can't do anything. And what
happened to your mentality during that time? Though?
Did you start feeling like I was like, here we go again.
Yeah.
I'm like, here we go again.
Like, there's no point.
And I would try to eat healthy, and I just wasn't like happy. And I know a lot of people struggled with this too. It wasn't just me, but my boyfriend, great guy, he was like, okay, I have this goal. And he went around, he found people with like, he found like this really rusty old bench press.
Nice.
He put it in his backyard and he would like lift every day. He's like, you know what? I can't go to the gym.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it.
I think I've met him once.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah,
he's so good to me.
But is there a common denominator, like going kind of back to your childhood, that I feel like everything and everybody is like purpose, and like even the things that scare them or that drive them, it kind of stems back to like a life experience that we've had.
Oh, absolutely. I will never forget this. Fourth grade. Fourth grade.
How old were you?
I think you're about 9 or 10.
Okay.
That was the first time a boy called me fat. Because I had 2 older sisters that were like really tall and slim.
But were you though, looking back? You were just shorter, or
I was
what?
just shorter, and I had a little kid belly. I wasn't a woman yet. I wasn't like growing. I just had like a little kid belly, which is normal. And I will never forget that boy calling me fat. I still know his name to this day. I still remember.
Have you seen him?
No, I haven't. But I actually had a conversation with my parents a few weeks ago. And he's like, my dad was telling me, he's like, I'll never forget the day you came home crying because some boy called you fat. And that's detrimental. Even before I hit puberty, before I even started caring about what I looked like, that hurt me. And I think that I let that hurt me too much to my core and hurt my mentality and my body image. And that's how my unhealthy relationship.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's how my unhealthy relationship really stemmed from and began from.
Your unhealthy relationship with?
My body and like my fitness and my mentality about my life and my body. And I've come a long way from being that 10-year-old little girl, and it's not been easy. I'm not going to like sugarcoat it. It's not been easy. I've had my ups and downs, but I'm here to this day, and I finally made the decision to throw away that mentality, to be my own woman now. I'm not that 10-year-old little girl who feels bad about herself. I love my body now.
And you've carried that.
Yeah.
That one comment.
That one comment has been on my back since I was 10 years old. Even when I was at my thinnest, I still felt crappy about myself.
Do you think that's what kind of drove you to have eating disorders?
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, that's crazy. Because I have an 11 and a 13-year-old boy. Mm-hmm. If I ever would hear either of them say anything like that,
and
that's crazy. And that
hard,
was
because little kids don't understand the power of words yet. I feel
that was like 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how it is now?
Yeah, and they're seeing like
There
all
was
these
social
Instagram
media.
models. Like, okay, freaking these 15-year-olds, these like 13-year-olds. Where the hell did they come from? Because they're looking like full ass adults now.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I couldn't even imagine.
So my boys have social media and stuff. And in fact, one of my boys, there was like this girl literally on social media, like 13 years old, kissing a guy.
Oh.
On social media.
I feel bad for the kids today. I feel like they have to mature so quickly.
Yeah, yes. I told him, I was like, no. I was like, you're not allowed to hang out with this person. You cannot follow this person. That is totally unacceptable. You guys need to be outside, catching frogs, getting muddy, come back when it's dark.
Can we go back to that?
Yes.
Can we go back to that
I know.
lifestyle?
It is such a weird time. Like, and I feel like it's, if parents don't step in now and get involved, or like, I remember whenever, like, I saw that and I was like,
what the fuck?
Because I'm pretty sure whenever I was 13, even 15, like,
I
didn't even know.
Awkward.
Yeah. I hadn't even, like a boyfriend. Like, no. I was, like, so into, like, oh, man. Times have changed. And I think that you got to understand, you can't just look the other way and not think that like your kids are like that you're experiencing this stuff. Like, you have to know, like, this is very real in our life, and our worlds have fast forward. And, I tried to embrace all of this, like with my boys who are now, they're teenagers getting into being teens, and like just wanting to be real with them and to try to teach them to not be that boy at 9-10 years old who is telling someone that they're fat.
Yeah. I think being honest with your kids is so important. Like, even if you don't want to be, because kids know when like your parents are trying to sugarcoat it. I remember my parents were like, no.
Yeah.
Like, trying to make me feel better and like saying like, it's because he likes you. I'm like, no, I don't believe that for a damn second.
It'd be kind of cool if you saw that guy again.
I'd be like, hey, fuck you. Look at me now.
I kind of want to see this guy.
He's
probably a loser.
I think maybe I'm friends with him on Facebook, but yeah, I've been seeing him probably since I graduated from 8th grade.
I just wonder now, like now that he has matured, if he knew his one comment, how it affected you for years. It changed my
life. It changed my life, that one comment. I feel like little kids don't understand the power of words and the power of comments, because I belittled myself. I was so hard on myself.
Were you popular growing up?
I grew up yes and no. Like, I went to Catholic school from kindergarten to 8th grade. So my class was very, very small. And I always felt like my role I was the fat girl. I thought I was the fat girl, and I really wasn't. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to be the fat girl, I'm going to be the funny fat girl.
Was it before the guy made the comment?
No, it was after. After I categorized myself as, I'm going to be the funny fat girl. I'm going to be the funny friend that, like, everyone could go to. They'll get a laugh at me. I'll make fun of myself. I'll belittle myself just to get a laugh of someone else, so people will like me.
Yeah.
And I played that role very, very well. And it's something I still struggle with today. Like, I love making fun of myself. I want to make other people laugh. Like, making other people laugh is my joy. And, like, I love seeing other people happy. That's my favorite thing.
You are really funny.
Thank you. I think so, too. I think so, too. But, you know, when you have a class of 60 and there's 30 girls, 30 boys, like, I did what I had to maintain a friend group.
Right.
And I went from a class of 60 to a class of 2,000 in high school.
Wow.
So I became a big fish in a little pond to a little fish in a big pond. And that was definitely a learning curve. But I found my people in high school. I continued with my sports. All my friends were on my sports team. And to this day, my current roommate is one of my freshman year teammates.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we reconnected randomly after college. But yeah, it's just
and kind of coming full circle. The weight training that you feel like that you really started this year, 2020.
Yeah, this is my year.
And
I truly feel
what have you found, like, with the weight training of, you know, maybe there's someone who has, like, kind of dabbled in it that's listening, or maybe there's somebody who hasn't really started weight training. Like, what would you suggest, or, like, tell them if they're listening?
Just do it. My thing was, when I look at, like, a squat rack or a weight that maybe if it's like a higher weight or something I haven't before, I look at a weight and I think of all the mean comments people have ever said about me, or all the things I've said about myself. And I'm like, what you're going to do is you're going to grab that shit by the handles and you're going to show it who's boss. And when I squat, when I lift, anything I do, I put my emotion into it, and I think that helps me. And I'm like, you're going to take everything anyone's ever said about you.
Channeling that emotion.
Yeah, and you're going to push it. You're going to show them they're wrong. You're going to show them who you are. And I think that's what's really helped me.
Do you think it's helped with your self-confidence?
Definitely. Like, it's hard to start working out. Do you think that
you're still a beginner? Or do you think you're kind of intermediate now?
I think
because you have a sports background.
I do have a sports background. I think I would consider myself still a beginner, because I'm still trying to figure out, you know, like, my form and, you know, what's my max and what's, like, my absolute limit I can push myself to. And I want to continue that journey until I feel comfortable in both those aspects, and then be like, okay, now I'm intermediate. Now I can challenge myself, get out of the box. Like, what can I do next to challenge myself? And I think that's where I'm at now. I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, just because you did 15 more reps, you're intermediate now. I'm like, be humble. Like we said in one of our episodes before, check your ego at the door.
Check your ego.
Which I have to constantly remind myself.
Yeah.
And just do what you got to do. Push your limits every day, safely, and then see what you can do next. And that's kind of the mentality I've been trying to tell myself every time I work out, or every time I see weights or something that might scare me. Channel those emotions.
So, last question.
Okay.
Like, what do you want to do when you grow up?
Ultimately, my goal in life is to help people. I want to make a difference in people's lives, whatever that role may be for someone, whether it's I've talked previously. I want to be a speech therapist when I'm older.
Don't you have a degree in speech therapy?
I do. My bachelor's degree is in speech language pathology, and I'm currently studying to go to graduate school, and just seeing all the avenues I can go down. But ultimately, I want to help people in whatever role that possibly is, whether it's being a friend, whether it's being a coworker, whether it's being someone's speech therapist, a teacher, something like that. I want to make a small difference in someone's life, whether I was there when someone needed someone, I was there for someone who had a speech impediment or a communication disorder or, whatever it is. I want to make people's lives easier.
You want to be in the active service.
Yes. I love helping people. That's what gives me happiness, is being there for others. Truly.
So there's this video that I put out on YouTube, like probably one of my first YouTube videos. Cash was probably...
Was he a baby?
2.
Cute.
He's 10 now, so like a long time ago. And I was so passionate about wanting to help others that in this video, and it's like a self-made YouTube video of like recording myself, not even on my phone
like a
yet.
Mac? Was that on the Mac camera?
It was on the Mac. And I said, if I could help one person, if I can save one life, then my job is done. This was before Instagram.
Strongly feel that.
Yeah.
That's what ignites my soul.
Yeah. And now it's like I wanted that so passionately and wholeheartedly that it was like, if I could save one life and change one life, then my job is done. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Is save and help that one person. And, years later, it's like I would have never dreamt that I would be where I'm at today and doing the things that I am today. And it all starts with passion. It starts with work ethic. And I think that it truly starts, and it has to be with the self-confidence of weight training and taking care of yourself and that positive self-talk and self-motivation that you give yourself.
Yeah.
And
you have to love yourself.
You have to love yourself.
You have to love yourself. And that is a hard thing to say. That's a hard battle to face.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because the road to self-love is a difficult one. Yeah. But once you find that, you can absolutely live your best life. Yeah. And I truly think that this is the year I've learned to love myself. I'm 23 years old. It's taken me since I was that 9-year-old little girl to love myself again. Yeah. And I think I found it. And I hope anyone who's listening, anyone who's maybe had a similar story or a similar instance, you can learn to love yourself, because that is the most important thing. And that's what's going to help you the most in your journey in life, whatever it may be.
And I think the first step is just trying.
Just trying
and committing.
Exactly.
And knowing that, like you started,
that's the hardest
COVID
step.
Happened, and it was like, you could have been like whatever for the rest of 2020, but you decided to figure out a way around the adversity and to keep going.
The hardest step is just getting the will to try.
Yeah. And the confidence to try and know that, like, I might look stupid, I might not know what I'm doing, but at the end of the day, this is what I want. I know that it's going to give back to me tenfold.
You have to fight for that.
You do.
You have to fight to love yourself, and you have to fight to try. And I promise you, it's worth it if you give yourself the shot to do it.
Yeah. So this week's homework on the Reborn podcast is to go out and try something new, whether it's different types of lifting, like changing a rep scheme. Maybe you haven't lifted weights in a long time, or maybe you haven't even tried running in a long time, and to get out there and to just try something. Maybe you're like a pretty intermediate advanced lifter, but you've never done Olympic lifting, powerlifting. There's so much that you can do. You can continue to push yourself and to grind and to find new ways to expand your horizon and to be the best version of yourself. And so this week's homework is that I just want you to go out there and just try something new, regardless of what it is. I want to know how that goes. So my name is Ashley. This is Laina.
Thanks for having me today,
Instagram
guys.
at Laina_Del Rey with an E. You can follow her. She's going to start posting about her fitness journey, start posting about the podcast and
Send
everything.
me your journeys.
Yeah, let us know.
Let's
you
do
can
it together.
DM her. You can DM the Reborn Pod. But let us know. And if you have a question, you can ask us here, and we'll answer it on the next Reborn Podcast Live. My name is Ashley. This is Laina, and we are out. We will catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.